No.
WWE Backlash 2025 was billed as the night that would elevate Seth Rollins to an untouchable status. A carefully orchestrated spectacle meant to crown the Visionary as not only a cornerstone of the company's past and present, but the undeniable architect of its future. Everything about the evening was designed to frame Rollins as the center of WWE's evolving narrative. A man stepping into the role of leader, strategist, and dominator. With the monstrous Braun Breaker by his side, an athletic phenom molded under Rollins's guidance, and the incomparable Paul Heyman lending his legendary voice and strategic brilliance, Rollins had assembled what many were already calling a modern dynasty. He referred to it as a new order, a regime rooted in calculation, precision, and power. In his mind, chaos was outdated. Anarchy was obsolete. The age of vision and dominance had arrived. A symphony of control. As the night wore on, the crowd in Puerto Rico was electric, already on fire from a string of high-impact matches. Pyrotechnics lit the skies. The air pulsed with anticipation. Then came the moment. Seth Rollins walking to the ring, flanked by Breaker and Heyman, soaking in the divided reaction of the WWE Universe. Boos clashed with cheers. Fans held up signs, some praising the new alliance, others warning of karma. But all eyes were glued to the ring. Rollins, dressed in a custom black and gold suit with his signature smirk etched onto his face, took the microphone and launched into one of his trademark monologues. His voice cut through the arena with the confidence of a man who believed every word he said. "I didn't just survive the Shield," he declared, his voice echoing through the rafters. "I outlived it. I learned from it. I transcended it." He praised Braun Breaker as the future, a specimen of raw talent transformed into a calculated weapon under his mentorship. He referred to Heyman as the mind behind empires, the man who once served Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, now lending his genius to something even greater. Rollins then turned his words into daggers. He mocked Roman Reigns, the tribal chief hiding behind sabbaticals and superstition, and sneered at the WWE Universe for ever doubting his vision. But it was when he brought up Dean Ambrose, now known to the world as Jon Moxley, that the arena's mood subtly shifted. Burying the past. Dean Ambrose? Rollins spat the name like venom. That man was never meant to lead anything. He was unstable, undisciplined, and unreliable. A wild card that had no place in a world of structure. WWE doesn't need maniacs. It needs visionaries. And the lunatic is long gone. The lights go out. The lights inside the arena didn't flicker. They died. A complete blackout plunged the stadium into darkness, swallowing the roaring energy of the crowd in a single breath. Thousands of fans shot to their feet, gasping, shouting, some even clutching each other in anticipation. The only light came from phone screens, glowing like scattered fireflies across the sea of people. It was the kind of silence that wasn't empty. It was charged. A low, almost primal energy gripped the air. Whispers turned into rising murmurs. Fans scanned the shadows, eyes darting to the stage, the ramp, the crowd. Everyone knew something was happening, but no one could guess what. A strange, distorted siren echoed through the arena speakers. It wasn't music. It wasn't an entrance theme. It was unsettling, like the alarm of something ancient and uncontrollable breaking loose. Some fans clapped, some screamed, others just stood frozen. It was the kind of sound that didn't introduce a superstar. It warned of a force. And then they heard it. A familiar guitar riff. A sound that had not graced a WWE arena in nearly half a decade. The unmistakable intro of Jon Moxley's entrance theme. Unrefined, violent, unrelenting. Not in polite applause, not in nostalgia. In pure, unrestrained shock and excitement. People cried out in disbelief. Some cried for real. The name they had long buried, long left for history, had just returned to the battlefield. True to his nature, chaotic, raw, untamed, he emerged from the crowd. A silhouette among shadows, leather jacket over his shoulders, head bowed, fists clenched, eyes fixed on the ring. No fireworks, no strobes, no posturing, just intent. The arena vibrated with chants of "Moxley! Moxley!" as he stalked down the stairs, carving a path through fans who reached out in awe. The moment wasn't just a return. It was a reckoning. A resurrection of the lunatic fringe, now leaner, meaner, and filled with fire. A return unlike any other. John Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose of The Shield, had not stepped foot in a WWE ring since his departure in 2019. His exit was dramatic, final, and in many ways symbolic. An outright rejection of the WWE machine. He had flourished elsewhere, becoming a cornerstone of AEW, redefining himself as an uncaged force of nature. His return wasn't supposed to happen, but there he was, not walking down the ramp like Rollins or Reigns. No, Moxley came through the crowd just like he used to, the same way the Shield had debuted all those years ago, dressed in a rugged black leather jacket, head down, fists clenched, eyes burning with fury. Moxley cut through the sea of fans like a ghost resurrected for revenge. A hunter's gaze. Rollins's smug demeanor began to crack. At first, he tried to keep up the facade, to look unfazed. But the closer Moxley came, the more transparent his fear became. Braun Breaker instinctively stepped forward, body tense, prepared to defend his mentor. Heyman's expression twisted into something rare. Fear. He had seen this version of Moxley before. He remembered what it meant. Moxley climbed over the barricade and slid into the ring slowly, never taking his eyes off Rollins. He didn't speak. He didn't blink. The atmosphere became suffocating. The crowd, as if hypnotized, began to chant his name, louder and louder. "Moxley! Moxley! Moxley!" Rollins tried to speak again, tried to regain control of the moment, but Moxley didn't give him the chance. Violence unleashed. Braun Breaker moved first, young, explosive, but was immediately caught with a brutal spinning elbow to the temple, dropping him to one knee. Rollins charged at Moxley with a forearm, but the veteran ducked, spun behind, and delivered a thunderous German suplex that sent Rollins sprawling into the corner. Chairs flew. The announce table shattered. Moxley tore through security like a man possessed. Every strike landed with malice. Every movement radiated intent. Paul Heyman, yelling in a mix of horror and disbelief, tried to help pull Breaker to safety. It was futile. The empire Rollins had begun to build was falling apart at the foundation, and the architect was being buried beneath the rubble. The locker room watches backstage. The locker room gathered in silence. Screens flickered. Superstars who had clashed with Moxley in the past stood speechless. Others, new blood, watched in awe, seeing what true chaos looked like. And somewhere, watching from a distance, Roman Reigns saw the tide shift. The third and final brother had returned. But this wasn't the same Shield soldier. This was something darker. This was a reckoning. A final statement. When the dust settled, Moxley stood alone in the ring, blood on his knuckles, sweat dripping from his brow. Around him, the wreckage of what was once poised to be Rollins's triumphant night. The fans stood, every single one, chanting his name, their voices hoarse from the chaos. He didn't celebrate. He didn't acknowledge the crowd. He simply picked up a microphone, raised it to his lips, and with a low, gravel-toned voice said, "The fallout begins." Rollins, bloodied and bruised, crawled to the ropes, his jacket ripped, his pride shattered. For the first time in years, he looked vulnerable. The visionary had stared into the eyes of his past and seen his own destruction reflected back. Heyman and Breaker, dazed and rattled, tried to regroup, but the damage was already done. The message was clear. Jon Moxley hadn't returned for glory. He had returned for war. Implications for WWE. The aftermath of Backlash 2025 will ripple across every WWE brand. Is Moxley back for good? Or was this a one-man revolution meant to set fire to Seth's kingdom? What becomes of Braun Breaker, who now carries the stain of failure on what was meant to be his breakthrough night? Paul Heyman, master manipulator and survivor, is now caught between two storms. Will he continue to serve Rollins, or hedge his bets with Moxley? And Roman Reigns, silent but omnipresent, will he finally step back into the war to restore order? Or will he embrace the chaos he once tried to control? One thing is certain. The WWE landscape has been irrevocably altered. Jon Moxley is back, and the war has only just begun.